Government's position on the reconstitution of the Governing Council of the KNUST team is that individuals who sat on the old council ought not to be on the new one, expected to resolve the impasse there. That's according to Information Minister Nkrumah, who says members of the dissolved council are party to the matter and should not be judges in their own cause. Though he admits government failed in meeting the November 2 deadline to submit their nominees for the council, it is committed to ensuring the school is reopened as soon as possible. Ms. Nkrumah believes a fresh council altogether will do a thorough job in attempt to resolve the issues, and those found to have played a role in last month's disturbances will be brought to book. He's been addressing the press this morning, and my colleague Komla Adom has been covering this for us. He joins us via phone now. Komla, what did the minister say will happen, particularly to the Vice Chancellor and the SRC representation?
Mama, the minister, shied away from speaking specifically to what will happen to the Vice Chancellor, Professor Wigan, or the KNUST, but he went on to say that according to the KNUST Act 190, which, goes ahead to talk about the membership of the Governing Council of the university, says it will have representatives of the UTAG, a representative of the undergraduate students of the university, which in this case, in the old Governing Council was the SRC president, and then a representative of the postgraduate students of the university, which was the GRAFAC president. The Information Minister's position is that these individuals who are representatives of these interest groups on the Governing Council are supposed to make a nomination of an individual, and that individual does not necessarily have to be the SRC president, who in this case we know led the students into that demonstration that led to the destruction of property. So even though he didn't say specifically what will happen to the VC and what will happen to the SRC president, he suggested that the interest groups will have to make nominations, and these nominees onto the board must be fresh individuals who are not those on the former Governing Council, so that the resolution process will be smoothing, so that calm will return to KNUST.
So essentially he's been calling for fresh members on the council?
That's correct, Mavi. And so he mentioned, for example, that the members of the old council who are, once they are made members of the new council, it is being jeopardized because then these individuals already are party to the matter at hand. So, for example, the Vice Chancellor, for example, UTAG rep, the SRC president, who is the rep of the undergraduate students, these are individuals who are party to all the disturbances that we saw at KNUST last month. And so it doesn't make sense to have these same individuals on the new council, which is expected to address the concerns that the students have been raising on the campus. So he says these individuals or reps must be fresh individuals if there is supposed to be a headway made in resolving the impasse at KNUST.
Well, was there also talk about when the school will reopen exactly?
He maintains that by November 7, government expects the Otunfo-led committee or council to ensure that the university is reopened, while the 3-month period which was given to the interim council to resolve the impasse is still in force. I think the 3 months is still in hold, but then by November 7, we expect that the university will be reopened for school academic work and all to begin.
Komla, did he also touch on the Ghana commodity exchange concerns?
Mama V, he went on to say that in a couple of hours, that's tomorrow actually, the president will launch the Ghana Commodity Exchange, and this will create a trading platform for sellers and buyers. In this particular exchange, they're going to be focusing a lot on staples, foods such as maize and rice, cocoa, timber, shea butter, and all of these vegetables. And after the rollout of this first, exchange, which is 12 months, they are expecting that in the next 3 years, they will be able to trade in minerals, metals, and petroleum products as well as that. So primarily what we're going to have launched tomorrow is the exchange that is going to have a platform for staples and vegetables and common products being sold between traders and sellers. And the minister mentions that it's expected to standardize the weights and grades of commodities, guarantee prompt payment, and also ensure accessibility to multiple and premium buyers in a larger market.
And Komla, I understand he's also been talking about fumigation of senior high schools in the country, essentially as a reaction to former President Mahama.
He mentioned that during the former administration, there was not a single attempt to fumigate senior high schools in the country. And so this government, he mentioned that only last week fumigated 678 senior high schools out of a possible 700. And some of the fumigation exercises actually began before school resumed. And only last week the process was completed to have all 678 senior high schools fumigated. And so the former president has no business criticizing or poking his nose essentially into stuff that he did not have the willpower to do while he was in government. So he mentions, for example, that in the Ashanti region, 120 schools have been fumigated. In the Bonafo region, 80 schools have been fumigated. Central region, 70. Eastern region, 97. The Greater Accra region, 50. The Northern region, 52. The Upper East, 34. Upper West, 21. Volta region, 100. And then the Western region, 54 schools, altogether making 678 schools which have been fumigated. So he says when ex-President Mahama wants to take a jab at government, he should stick to the facts and not stick to score cheap political points with his commentary.
Komla Adom, thank you very much. That's my colleague Komla Adom bringing us up to speed with a press briefing this morning by the Ministry of Information, addressed by the Minister of Information, Kojo Ponkrama.